The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Khadija approached him to do business for her, after she saw the honesty of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after she saw how he brought her a lot of business and brought her, mashallah, more than what the other salesman used to bring for her, and she saw her truthfulness, then also she talked to Maysara, where Maysara told her a lot of incidents that took place in their journey. So she was interested into marrying the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she sent Nafisa to talk to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam so they can arrange the marriage. However, we talked about that Khadija, she was a very rich, very beautiful woman, and she wants to marry the Prophet. She got a lot of opportunity, but she was refusing. She was married twice before, and her husbands died. Then she refused a lot of offers. But when it came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was interested, and she wants to marry the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Maysara told her all the good things about the Prophet ﷺ. Nafisa went and spoke to the Prophet ﷺ, and they arranged, and Prophet ﷺ went with his uncle to marry Khadija. And we said we had two narrations. That one narration was they asked her from her father Khuwaylid, or there's another narration says that they asked her from her cousin Warqa bin Nawfal. However, the marriage took place, and alhamdulillah, and they got married. He was 25 years old, and she was 40 years old, mashallah. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stayed with Khadija, and he never married any other woman during the marriage of Khadija. During that time, he did not marry any other woman. He stayed with only Khadija. And this is a response and a reply for those who accuse the Prophet ﷺ. They say that he married so many women, and indeed, yes, he did marry, but he married after Khadija died, and he was over the age of 50. So if he was really into marrying the woman, he would have done that when he was young. But in fact, that he did it for other reasons, why he married others after Khadija died, but during the marriage with Khadija, he did not marry any other woman. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he married Khadija, he had also children from Khadija, and this is what I want you guys to remember: the children of Khadija, and how many children the Prophet sallallahu had, and who is his sons, who is his daughters, and all that. We're going to talk about that today, inshallah ta'ala. So pay attention, close attention to it. So the first son that he had from Khadija was Al-Qasim. Al-Qasim was from Khadija. He was the eldest son he had, but he died when he was young. So Al-Qasim died when he was young. There was two narrations. One, it says that he died when he was 2 years old, and the other narration says that he died when he was at this age of 7. However, he died when he was young. That's his eldest son, Al-Qasim. And also, he had other son. His name is Abd-Allah. Abd-Allah also from Khadija, and he had a nickname also that called Al-Tahir or Al-Tayyib. Many people get confused that Prophet ﷺ, he had Al-Qasim, and he had Abdullah, Al-Tayyib, Al-Tahir. Actually, he had only 2 sons from Khadija. One is Al-Qasim, and the other one is Abdullah. And Abdullah's nickname was Al-Tahir and Al-Tayyib. Al-Tayyib also died when he was very young as well. And both died before the Prophet ﷺ became a prophet. So both, they died at the younger age when they were very young. But he had also another son but from another wife after he migrated to Medina, and he had Ibrahim. He had it from Maria. He had another son, and also he died before the age of 2 years old. He was still breastfeeding when he died. As it was reported in the authentic hadith that the Prophet ﷺ, he would have a mother breastfeeding him in the Jannah. And also that when he died, the Prophet ﷺ, he did cry and he was sad, and he said the authentic hadith, that the heart, the eye will shed tears and the heart will feel the sorrow and feel the pain, but we only say what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. However, he had also daughters from Khadija. He had Ruqayyah, Zainab, Umm Kulthum, and Fatimah. All of them, they grew up and they became older and they all accepted Islam. They died after the Al-Bi'tha. As Prophet ﷺ was sent as a prophet, they died after, they accepted the message of the Prophet ﷺ and they died as a Muslim. From this we can understand that the Prophet ﷺ, he is being prepared for a mission and a message sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We learn that he was orphaned. We learn that he lived a poverty life. He was very poor. We learn that he lived with the leaders, so he understand how leadership takes place, and he learned and he lived the life of richness. So all these aspects in life, how people live, Prophet ﷺ lived it. So when he delivered the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he delivered it in a way that he understand how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preparing him, so he can understand the situation of the people and the condition of the people. So when he talked to a rich person, he will know the point that he's talking about. When he sees a poor person, he knows the condition that he's in. When he sees an orphan, he knows the condition that he's in, because he lived those conditions. He lived those lives. As we told, the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised me and he taught me the etiquette. أَدَّبَنِي رَبِّي فَأَحْسَنَ تَأْدِيبِي. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has raised me and taught me the etiquette, and he did the best job. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the time he got married until the time he was sent as a messenger, so he was married at the age of 25 and he became a prophet at the age of 40. Those 15 years, there's a few incidents took place. We will talk about those incidents inshallah ta'ala. Some we'll talk about today and some we'll talk about in the following halaqah yet to come. So during that time, he was doing business for Khadija. He does not have to work anymore because Khadija was supporting him and helping him. So he was doing the business for her, and at that time he was giving the agreement, and he was giving the business and doing the business for her remotely. He would stay in Mecca and he would send other salesmen to do the business for her, and he would do sign the agreement and do all that agreement on behalf of Khadija. So he was doing all the business while he was in Mecca, living in Mecca. During that time also, in those 15 years, that what happened is, some of the incidents that took place that we're going to talk about inshallah in detail more in the next halaqah is the renovation of the Kaaba. What happened? Why did they have to do renovation? Why did the Kaaba got a little bit demolished or destroyed? And why do they need to renovate all that? And how do they do that? We're going to talk about more in details inshallah in the next halaqah. But just to give you an idea of how Prophet ﷺ lived his life during before the Bi'tha and those incidents, how they take the place, inshallah ta'ala, before the Prophet became a messenger, and how people would know him as, and he's been known in the community as he is the as-sadiq al-amin, the trustworthy and the truthful person. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and give us tawfiq so we can live and understand the seerah of the Prophet. As we mentioned before, that the reason why we understand and we try to learn the seerah, so we can see how Islam started and how Islam was delivered to us, and how we can live Islam in our life, and how we can love Islam, and how we can take Islam and how we can take this deen, and we are fully convinced that this is the only religion and the truthful religion that will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we can live with it happily, convinced happily that this is the way of life, and this is the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with us, and we should be proud of who we are as a Muslim and be proud of our identity. Not to feeling shy or shame or discouraged. No, lift your head up and be proud that you're a Muslim. And learning the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, learning how Prophet ﷺ, and learning how Prophet ﷺ taught us Islam, and where we were before and what we are right now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and give us tawfiq wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah.